Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat and today we're going to be looking at the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. This is the 3-inch scale of Shadow the Hedgehog, of course the brand new Hedgehog from the third movie series. Of course we've seen him many times in computer games before, but this is the first time he's been given a proper movie appearance, at least in this franchise of movies. He of course has seen television before. He's been in Sonic Prime. There we are. And there is our Shadow. So, we're going to be taking a look at some comparisons with quite a lot of the other figures in this line, and also from the Sonic 2 movie. So, he has this weird little gold bit between the eyes. Obviously, Shadow in the computer games, his eyes are basically one eye. They meet in the middle, and they've put this little part here. But I don't know why they've made it gold instead of just leaving it black. There's a little bit of dust on the back of his spikes there. Considering this is a 3-inch figure, it's very detailed. He's got one closed fist, one open fist. Articulation is 5 points for articulation. Arms move up and down. They rotate. The head also fully rotates. And then the legs, they can also come up, and they can also swing out. They're on a circular joint there as well. So, it's very cool. So this is everything in Wave 1 except for Dr. Robotnik. And the reason I didn't go for Dr. Robotnik is because he doesn't really fit to scale with the rest of the 2.5-inch figures. Now, before we go into the comparisons, let's just do a quick 360 of Shadow for you all. Then we're going to bring back the rest of the Sonic 3 movie figures. We're going to compare them to the Sonic 2 movie figures, and then we're also going to talk about Dr. Robotnik as well, and what I think is the best version to go for. And then after that, we will talk about what is coming up in the next video, which is going to be a very cool video indeed. So there you go, there is our Shadow the Hedgehog himself. And there we are. I'm wondering if we'll get figures of things like Gerald Robotnik and Maria and such once the movie comes out, I don't know. But let's compare him. So there is our Sonic from the third movie, which has a much more kind of relaxed, less aggressive face. There is Knuckles, who has slightly larger eyes than he does in his second movie form. And the fourth one, and I think it's a very similar figure from what I saw online, is the Dr. Robotnik. And you can see that this Dr. Robotnik, he is the same height as the other figures, but it doesn't make sense to me for Dr. Robotnik to be the same height as all the hedgehogs are. Instead, what I prefer to use for scaling is the Sonic 2 movie, I think they call this 6-inch figure, which he's a little bit taller than what he should be, but I think this is a much better scale for Robotnik in terms of the hedgehogs, because the hedgehogs are supposed to be about half the height of what Robotnik is. Of course, I'm saying hedgehogs, there's only two of them that are hedgehogs, which is Sonic and Shadow, Knuckles and Echidna, and of course we have Tails from the second movie as well. So here is Tails, who is not available in the third movie, not yet in terms of the 3-inch figures. You can get Tails in the 13cm figures, which are the larger ones. Let me just show you. So this is the new mainline set of figures. There is Shadow himself. We saw him in a previous review, and you can see that they are significantly taller than the former figures as well. Of course, this is also much larger than the 6-inch figures. I mean, there is Dr. Robotnik in comparison to Shadow, and you can see that Shadow does certainly tower over Dr. Robotnik there. Now let's take a quick look at the Sonic Movie 2 figures. So there is the comparison to Sonic. So really, one's more aggressive looking Sonic, one's a more laid back looking Sonic. Let's just move Tails back a little bit. And there you can see the Knuckles from Sonic the Movie 2 and Sonic the Movie 3 next to one another. And you can see that Knuckles looks a little bit more aggressive in the Sonic Movie 2 figurine than he does in the Sonic Movie 3. So it's up to you which Sonic or which Knuckles that you prefer. If you want to get yourself a Super Sonic, and there he is, let's just move you guys over a little bit and we'll put Super Sonic next to Shadow, since they both have the quills that go upwards. And if you want to get yourself a Super Sonic, if you want a Super Sonic, then the way to get him is from the Dr. Robotnik Giant Eggman playset, the big robot egg set that came from the second movie. It comes with a quotation mark secret figure, and that secret figure is indeed Super Sonic. Of course, the reason they did that was because they didn't want to spoil that Super Sonic was in the second movie. So that was a very cool way that they went around making sure that people didn't know, that didn't get spoiled, that Super Sonic was going to show up at the end of the movie. And also it's a cool way of them actually still releasing the figure. So that was very cool. So that's how to get the Super Sonic for the 3-inch figures. And the other cool thing about the 3-inch figures is you get some accessories with the little figures. And there is the little Buzz Bomber and the little egg drone. And I think these guys scale very well. I think they scale very perfectly to the 2.5-inch figure, or the 3-inch figures as I like to call them. There again, there is the scale if anyone wants to try and guess or say exactly what they think they are. I like to call them 3-inch scales, but I think they are informally online known as the 2.5-inch scale. And that is your current line of little figurines, of course, as well as Dr. Robotnik, who, just for fun, there we could throw him in there. And you can see that Dr. Robotnik just doesn't really work as well as the other ones. But for my money, that is what I would go for a pretty good representation of your figures to scale, rising up to the new movie on its release. So what I would recommend is get yourself the Super Sonic, get the Shadow, get the Tails from the second movie, and then get the 6-inch Dr. Robotnik, and then it's really up to you what Sonic and what Knuckles that you prefer, or if you just want all of them, just go ahead and grab all of them indeed. But in the next video, the last video of the Sonic movie stuff that we have at the moment, because this is all I managed to get from Smith's, is going to be the giant enemy crab. And the giant enemy crab playset is going to be very, very interesting to take a look at. I do not know anything about this. I'm hoping that the giant enemy crab is not a spoiler, but we're going to take a look at it regardless. Of course, we have this about 2.5 months before the movie comes out, so if you're watching this at some point in the future, this is all very, very interesting that all this came out so early. But that's going to be it for this little video, folks. I really hope you all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification icon so you can see when more of these glorious little videos go out. And we shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.